Hey Juventini, welcome back to the All Juve cast. This is Alberto, and we are going to preview the match of Juventus versus Bologna. It is the follow-up to Juve winning the Supercoppa, and yeah, what a Saturday, Juventini! What a Saturday! We're going to touch on this match, this fixture. We're going to talk about the news. We're going to talk about De Ligt testing negative and being available now for this one. We're going to talk about some projected lineups. We're going to talk about Pirlo's words heading into this one. We are going to touch on Cristiano Ronaldo. We're going to touch on Dragusin. And we're going to touch a bit on some other surrounding news. I got to make it quick. I'd love to do it longer, but it's going to be somewhat short because I got to get to bed because I'm doing the live watch along. So make sure you tune in for the live watch along at game time. It's going to be 3:30 my time, and that's why this particular one is going to be cut short because I got to get that sleep so I can actually wake up for this one. Let's start off with the history of this fixture. These two teams have met 182 times. 89 wins going Juve's way, 30 ending up for losses for Juve, and then we have 63 ending in draws. Can you tell me the leading goal scorer in the history of this fixture? And again, you got to think back because 182 times these two teams have met. But let's get to the news from today. All right. So you have De Ligt now making himself available as he's tested negative for COVID. Some say he's quickly going to slot into the lineup. Now, the only interesting thing about this, because I have no issues. Obviously, De Ligt, I think, a lock and needs to be in there. So I'm not saying do not play him. Absolutely, I'm saying get him in there. But it's interesting because Chiellini was tipped to 100% make the start in this one, and it was kind of a couple other defenders that were in question to go in there. Now with De Ligt being available, basically we know what happened in the other matches. Okay, both clubs from Milan dropping points. Merda only managing a draw, and Milan losing to Atalanta today. So opportunity again for Juve to keep the pressure on those ahead of them, and they need to do it and need to get job done. So De Ligt being available, he slots in there. As far as Chiellini, it's going to be interesting. I don't think Pirlo will go without Bonucci. And then I think Danilo's a lock on one side as Cuadrado is on the other. So, it's just interesting because Chiellini was tipped off to for sure make the start. But I think this news kind of changes things. And we should preserve Chiellini because he proved, especially in the Supercoppa, to me anyways, that he can still have a very, very big part to play for us. Demiral's going to be the one that's probably going to be suffering from minutes yet again. So it'll be interesting to see and follow that storyline. The other guys tipped off to play for sure is McKennie, and then Morata and CR up top. Chiesa will not be able to play in this one. So he will be out. Bernardeschi will be taking his place. So we will see Federico Bernardeschi in the lineup. As far as everything else, it is tipped off that we're going to get the same midfield, which a lot of Juventini have said they want to see, which I agree with, is McKennie, Bentancur, and Arthur follow up that Supercopa victory. We will see. I have seen a projection that also shows Rabiot with Arthur and McKennie, so it'll be interesting to see. If it were me, I keep it the same. Benta, Arthur, McKennie. Morata and CR7, I think that's pretty clear up top, and we mentioned Bernardeschi playing as Chiesa will not. We'll see what ends up happening here. This is another opportunity for, like I mentioned earlier, Juve to put the pressure on those above them. They have to get the 3 points. Pirlo talking in his presser after, of course, winning the Supercoppa there with Juve, starting to talk about wanting to win it all and cannot be satisfied. And I love that. That's the exact perfect choice of words that he needs to say is that we cannot be satisfied, and he wants to win it all. And he also stressed that there is basically no room for error, and they cannot drop any more points. And I love it. He's starting to dial it up a bit in intensity in terms of the words he's saying and the message he's trying to put across to the players. But he did still also say that he needs to improve as well. So he's not completely separating himself from the players. He is holding himself accountable and basically, saying everything that I believe holds true. So I liked what Pirlo was saying, and I like that he's cranking up the intensity. Another thing I like, even though prior to the Supercopa match, I did praise Ronaldo in that Supercopa match for how much he worked off the ball and fighting to get the ball back for Juve. I loved it. I need to see it like that all the time. And I did criticize him a bit in some matches leading up to that. But one good thing with Cristiano Ronaldo, he did win the MVP award for the month of December. Okay, so Cristiano Ronaldo winning that. And he is chasing Omar Sivori for the quickest to reach 100 goals for Juventus. He's at 85. He has to score 15 more, and he's got 14 games to do it. Look, whether we believe he's going to do it or not, I love the fact that he's got another record that he's chasing, because it's just going to ensure that he's going to be going all out. We know this guy is a machine when it comes to records, and he loves breaking them. I love the fact that he's chasing this because it's good for us, and he's going to be all in getting after this. So whether or not he's going to do it or what, I don't know. But what do you think? Drop the comments in on the video there. Do you think he's going to be able to break this record? Going to be pretty impressive if he can. And it really makes you think, in 109 matches for Juve, he's got 85 goals. And it really just hit me. Like, I remember reading this last night and just thinking, wow, it just seems wild. It seems like his time has been really just a blur. We get so caught up in the frustrations of this team trying to meet the expectations that we all put on them, that sometimes something like this just goes not completely unnoticed, but flies a little low under the radar, and you have to stop and think about just how incredible it is and what he's doing is, especially at his age, and especially the fact that there's been coaching changes and all this going on around there. Iskander joining in here. Hey brother, thanks for making it in here. I can't keep it too long, Iskander. This match is going to be at 3:30 a.m. my time, so just getting close to shutting her down. Thank you for joining, though, bro. And then speaking of Ronaldo chasing Omar Sivori's record, if you guessed to the question, who is the leading all-time goal scorer in this fixture, Juve versus Bologna, and you guessed Omar Sivori, you get it right. The legend himself, Sivori, is the leading scorer. And last but certainly not least, we're going to touch on Dragusin. Dragusin basically getting a lot of attention and a lot of looks in the footballing world, and has become a pretty hot prospect for Juve, and he's got teams going after him and chasing him. And on the last podcast there, I was asked with and do you see him go? This is a tough one. It's a tough one because we do have De Ligt. We have Demiral. I guess it's kind of questionable what we're going to do with Demiral. I believe we still own Romero and can bring him in. But I don't know. I don't like a situation where we see Dragusin go. I was very, very impressed in the match he had to start in that Coppa Italia and how he played. I was very, very impressed. So to see any kind of deal for Dragusin where he goes and we don't basically still have the rights to him, or it's not on a loan or something where he comes back to us. I'm not so sure I like that. I think should keep building with this kid and have him around. He's an absolute unit too, but I was pretty impressed with what I saw there, and I think there's definitely the tools there to make a star defender there. So yes, in my opinion, hang on to Dragusin. If you do see him out, make it a loan move somewhere he can go continue to grow and get minutes. But yeah. And then Dave coming in here with he liked what Pirlo said about Kulusevski. Play more as a second striker. Yes, so Pirlo speaking to Kulusevski and saying he fits in a lot better as that second striker because of the freedom he's allowed. And I actually got into this discussion with some Juventini this morning as we were talking about that attacking mid role. Everybody kind of has their beliefs on it. Some want to see Dybala there. I feel that the way we use our 10 isn't like a traditional 10, and ours is coming from the midfield. So there's defensive responsibilities there. So I cannot see Dybala doing it physically. I can see Kulusevski doing it. However, I can also see him being a second striker. The only thing is he gets in some instances up top there where he struggles with his back to goal and is easily dispossessed. I also think Kulusevski is better. Same reason I said Ronaldo is better and Dybala is better when Morata is in there, because this system, it's crucial to have a true 9 in there. And the same goes for Kulusevski, because to me, it was actually night and day, the two matches. And when you see him play up top there with Morata next to him, it was night and day to the one where he was playing with Ronaldo up top. So, yeah, I think still the big key is the 9. And, of course, the Mercado goes on, and we are starting to see targets and links that Juve's been linked with starting to fade away and starting to go other ways. So Papu Gomez rumored to probably join Sevilla. So that was a playmaker we were apparently in play on. As far as forwards go, Scamacca is still a name running around for Juve. Llorente might be going to another team in Serie A. I believe Milik is going somewhere else as well. So we're starting to see these guys fade. There's still a couple floating around there. Whether or not Juventini want those guys, and I'm not going to drop the names, but I don't know. I said it from the start of this Mercado. Do not expect a lot. I am happy with Juve if they were going to stockpile some of these young talents. I'm perfectly fine with that. Because it sets up a good situation financially for them to be able to write the books and start getting some cash flow and make some sales. If these guys aren't going to be able to play a part, should the team not see a future for these guys at Juve? Brian Reynolds ended up apparently choosing Roma, probably the financials taking it, and maybe also the fact that I think it was supposed to be up front, and maybe Juve just can't get through with that. So money's tight right now, and that's one of the things. So I said it at the start of this Mercado. I said maybe one player picked up that will actually slot into this lineup, but we keep it rolling. We keep seeing what happens and whatnot. But the big thing is we need to focus on the guys we do have. Kulusevski, as David brought up with Pirlo speaking to him, it seems that he's starting to find a home, and Pirlo's starting to get some confidence with him in that particular position. For me, the question mark still becomes how we use that attacking mid out of the midfield. I think you got to slap him dead center, keep the other two mids on the outsides. But McKennie has to be a lock, in my opinion, in this midfield. Is he going to be able to do it as good and better than Ramsey? Well, Ramsey's hit and miss as well, and McKennie gives you a lot more, in my personal opinion. Artur, I've been criticizing Artur throughout the season when we did see him about wanting more out of him and expecting more out of him. But to be honest, he's almost a necessity based on the relief he gives. He's like a security blanket to the other guys, especially in our final third when the ball hits his feet. He simply does not lose it, so he's got to get in there. And Bentancur, I've actually liked Bentancur in these past um, 3-4 matches maybe. I'm starting to see him grow again and get some confidence built up. So I like what he's doing. And Rabiot is kind of on the opposite side of the fence there for me because he's starting to drop. So yeah, you got to go with the hot hands. We talked about it with De Ligt being back. He's got to slot in. We cannot afford to drop points. Like Pirlo said, we have to get after it. We have to go out there and put the pressure on these teams that are above us. So I'm happy. I'm pumped. I even wrote it. I did an article for Bianconeri Zone. I'm going to be doing the weekly recaps for them. So in the column this week, I actually said, as last week, right after the Merda loss, Juventini, we were obviously clearly upset, frustrated, but some were saying that's it, it's over. There's a lot of season left to play. We have a match in hand as well. We saw both Milan clubs drop points today. This is our chance to keep nipping at their heels here. Juve, Bologna, my prediction, Juve wins. Juve will win this one. I'm going to go with 3-0 in this one. So I want to hear your predictions. Drop them in the comments on this video. Please tune in to the watch along. Okay, it's 3:30 my time, but don't worry, I'll have a few espressos. I'll be ready to go. We're gonna watch this one together, share the reactions, and hopefully celebrate a victory together. Enjoy the match, Juventini, and of course, I'm gonna hit you with the post-match podcast, and that will be recorded live as well with another great guest who's going to be making his debut on the All Juve cast, and I love it when Juventini make their debut. So make sure you tune in to all of that. Take care, have a good night, and I'll see you bright and early at 3:30 a.m. for this one. Can't wait. Forza Juve, fino alla fine. Ciao.